What's good, YouTube? Listen, this video is going to be about a huge red flag that a man doesn't intend on starting a relationship with you, that he has no love to give, that he doesn't want what you want. So I talk to a lot of women who are talking to guys, and for the first 15 minutes of our conversations, I really just let my clients talk, even longer than that. If I'm on the phone with someone and then it takes them 30 minutes to get out, whatever they need to get out, I'm patient enough to listen to a person. I always tell a person, listen, this is your time. Don't worry about me. I'm a very patient listener. And so I let a person talk for 10, 15, 20, 25, even 35 minutes about, what their situation is. I need the complete perspective so I can help them, right? These are my coaching calls I'm describing. So a lot of times a woman will be talking to me about a guy or a relationship she started, and she's always talking about, well, yeah, I talked to him here and I talked to him. And she keeps using these terms, we spoke, we talked. And immediately, the assumption is that this is verbally, right? This is communicated audibly. And when I asked, I said, so, okay, how long you talk to him on the phone? And they're like, well, we don't really talk on the phone. That's text message. Oh, you text him. He texts you every day. Okay, so what type of text message conversations do you have, right? I'm expecting this is going to be a huge, long, super long pen pal letter exchange every day where there are multiple paragraphs being exchanged, because that's how they feel when they're telling me about how they're bonded with this person or how they're connected with this person or how they've grown with this person. I'm expecting that this communication that they've received and exchanged with this person to be significant. Most of the time it's not. Most of the time when a woman tells me, yeah, we talk every day, she's referring to the 3 or 4 text messages between good morning, beautiful, or good morning, queen. And what are you doing? How was your day? Good night. Like, that's really all these women are getting. About 3.5 years ago, I did a video on text only relationships. And I told women, please avoid text only relationships. Right? When my channel got hacked, a lot of my videos fell out of the algorithm, which killed a lot of my view stats. And so a lot of people might not be able to see that video right now, or a lot of people aren't being recommended that video when they need it. But I'm going to tell you, ladies, listen, y'all got to stop this text only relationship crap. A huge red flag that a guy does not want a relationship is when a man won't pick up the damn phone and call you. When he won't dial your number and listen to your voice, he doesn't have a relationship to give 9 times out of 10. Right? Of course, there are some exceptions, but those are the exceptions. The rule is a man who won't talk to you, a man who doesn't miss your voice, a man who won't communicate with you verbally between dates isn't looking for a girlfriend. He's looking for a situationship. He's looking for a friends with benefits, or he's looking for a sexual encounter so he can back off the text messages. What you don't understand is dating coaches, pickup artists for men, red pill pickup artists, train their men to not talk to women on the phone because that's a non-sexual investment. That's non-sexual time. All of these red pill guys, these millions of guys who are following this fucking fake alpha male masculinity kick where men are more superior human beings than women and they don't deserve, like, these men are trained. It is common knowledge in these circles to teach men to not call women. This is super, super popular. So when you're not making a guy call you, when you're not expecting a guy to communicate with you, you're allowing him to avoid non-sexual time, right? Which is the key. Avoid non-sexual time. Unless you're in a woman's face, making her feel like she knows you more than she does know you, don't be on the phone with her, creating expectation, getting emotionally attached, creating intellectual intimacy. Those are no-nos in the pickup artist world, in the fuckboy world, and in the screw a woman and then discard her world. These men do not allow or condone their subscribers and their followers to talk to a woman all night and get to know her on the phone and share ideas and thoughts. And that's not what they're doing. If a man tells you, I don't really like to be on the phone, and then he refuses to call you, what kind of relationship do you think you're going to have? Are you going to just text your husband, just text your man, just text your partner? Like, people have to talk. People have to share ideas and exchange information. They have to communicate and comprehend one another. They have to exchange. If a man's not willing to talk to you when he doesn't know you in order to get to know you, then what makes you think you have a relationship coming? What makes you think it's even possible to get this guy to care about you if he won't even get to know you? This is foolishness. This is fucking foolishness. Stop this. Stop letting men just text you. If a man refuses to call you, especially after you suggest it or after you tell him, hey, I'm not really much for text. I'm old school. I like a man to call me. I like to get to know a person first before I go out with them or after I go out with them or between dates. I really want to hear from a person. And he acts like that's too much, like that's a waste of his time or like that's too insignificant for him to do. That's his level of interest in you. You're insignificant. Because guess what? If a man thought for 1 second that he was going to miss out on an opportunity to date a woman who he found value in, who he thought was special, he would be in the way of other men because men are territorial. He would be cock blocking other men by making sure he was the one on the phone with you. He was the one talking to you before bed. He was the one checking in with you. He was the one on your mind. He was the one exchanging thoughts and ideas and making you laugh. A lot of these guys are literally just texting and sexting you, and y'all are just going with it, thinking that you talking to somebody. And then you have the nerve to be heartbroken after you have never even had a conversation with this man, or you talked to him twice and y'all dated for 6 weeks. How you heartbroken? Y'all texted. Too many women are settling for the idea of a relationship instead of a development of real relationships. And so when you're heartbroken, this guy's not even special. You didn't even know this man. You just imagined him, daydreamed about him, and texted him a couple of times. You don't actually even know him to be heartbroken. You're heartbroken at another prospect slipping away. That's what you're heartbroken by. And stop claiming anxiety every time somebody tells your ass to get on the phone. Everybody doesn't have social anxiety. Not everybody. It's a real thing. A lot of people have it, but most people don't. So please stop acting like, oh, I just like to text. You don't like to text. You want a man to be into you. You want a man to be interested. You want to feel like the only woman in the world to the guy that you want. Well, guess what? If he refuses to call you, if he refuses to dial your number, especially after you've sat in front of him, then the likelihood that he has a relationship or has love to give or wants what you want is very slim. Stop this text-only relationship crap because it doesn't actually lead to love. It leads to you trying to bridge the gap by jumping in bed with the guy when you had a hot date with him because you hadn't heard much from him. And then when you're in front of him, you feel like the only girl in the world and you want to maintain that. You want to grow that. You end up in bed with the guy or doing whatever he asks you to do or wants you to do because you're trying to figure out how to make him like you more because you're not sure because you haven't heard from him because y'all don't talk. It starves you for attention and affection so that you overcompensate with sex and then he can get away clean, having never really developed a rapport or a culture in your relationship of communication. Now his text messages just get shorter and fewer and far in between, and he's in and out like that. You don't even know this person because you never got to know them. You just exchanged text messages and probably got some D pics along the way. If you've never spoken to a man on the phone or you haven't spoken to a man on the phone on a regular basis before you get your first D pic or before you get your first sexting invitation or sexting attempt, you definitely don't have anything coming from this guy. Stop playing with these men who don't have anything for you. You're not victims if you know what's going on. Victimhood is being tricked and not knowing it. Victimhood is being unaware, being ignorant, or even being foolish of a thing and then not having an opportunity to avoid it. Once you know what's coming, once I've told you that a man who doesn't call you and refuses to call you or talk to you between dates doesn't want a relationship, now you have to make a decision. I just gave you some wisdom. I just gave you some game. What you do with that game is your business. What you've done with it over the years is your business. But if this has happened to you over and over again, and then I'm telling you why it's happening and you continue to do it, you're not a victim. These men aren't necessarily doing this to you. You're assisting them in doing it to yourself as well. A man has to care about a woman's thoughts, opinions, and feelings in order to fall in love with her. And it's very difficult to start to care about a woman's thoughts, opinions, and feelings and her life and the results of her days if you're not getting to know her, if she's not becoming more human to you. If you were going to add a person to your life, if your plan was to join a person as a life partner, you would probably want to properly interview them and thoroughly get to know them before you made the mistake or the decision to be with them. When a man is not investigating you from a deep place, when a man is not thorough in what he's trying to learn about you, it's because he's not trying to put you anywhere important in his life. It's because you are insignificant. Men are very protective of themselves. The one thing that women can learn about men or from men is that we protect ourselves no matter what. Even if it hurts us, we protect ourselves because it doesn't feel masculine to be hurt. It doesn't feel masculine to be heartbroken. So we protect ourselves from women who might be a threat to us. The way men do that, the way men protect themselves before relationships is to investigate, is to speak to a woman a lot, is to talk to them extensively so that we can make sure that we know who we're about to add to our life. If we're not going to add you to our life, if there's no desire to join you as a partner, to cooperate with you in a relationship, then yes, we'll skip the phone calls. We don't need phone calls for sex. We don't need phone calls to have a good time. We don't need phone calls to explore desire and build sexual tension. We need phone calls to grow with the person. We need phone calls to get familiar with the person's background. We need phone calls to assess relationship skill sets. We need phone calls to protect ourselves, right? We need to exchange our ideas verbally. We need to talk to a person, to grow with them, to figure out if we should be with them, if we should be together, if they can be trusted. That's how men use phone calls, to gather valuable information before they add a woman to their life and allow themselves to fall in love. So I don't give a damn who you are. 9 times out of 10, a man is using phone calls to get familiar with a woman he actually sees value with, or he's trying to be with her every day. And sometimes that's hard and you can wear out your welcome that way. That's why men use phone calls to protect themselves, because you can't be with a person every day. People have shit to do and it's too much. It's overkill. That's why people use phone calls, so they don't wear out their welcome while they investigate a prospect. That's how men function when they're looking for actual love. But if a man's not seeing you but once a week or once every couple of weeks, and all you're getting between those dates is text messages, he's not looking for love. He's not investigating you. He's not protecting himself from you. He's not vulnerable to love with you. So he has no reason to talk to you or to make sure you're okay. Make sure you're not crazy. Make sure you're not a liar. Make sure you're not a cheat. He doesn't care. You belong to the streets. I hope y'all understand this. Like, again, I can tell it to you, but I can't understand it for you. If a man is interested in love, he needs to investigate you, and he will do that through the phone because he probably can't see you every day. But these guys that you're dating, you ain't even seen them in 2 or 3 weeks, and you just get text messages, or you just get text messages during the week, and then you have to see them on Saturday before you give them some, or before they try again to get some from you. 3 dates in a row, all he did was try to get you to come back to his place, and you never had conversations with him through the week except for to set up the date or to call him and say, I'm out front. That man doesn't have love to give. He's not protecting himself from you. If he's not investigating you extensively, he don't want nothing from you. Anyway, I hope that helps. Follow me at KFIG24 on Instagram. I'll get with y'all later.